What's going on, all you savages? Savages in the chat. Marcel calling me out. Come on, man. I told you I was going to be on time. Welcome, guys. Welcome, everybody, to another exciting episode of Savage Crucible. Rob is sitting here with us today. Rob, what's going on, man?
Not much. Working like the usual. Glad to be here. Really excited for this one.
Nice. I think a lot of people are. Chat's been blowing up. We got Frankie here too. We'll be bringing him on in a second, but we'll be going through some updates real quick of what we got coming up, and we won't keep you guys waiting too long for some Death Dealer. I think is that what we're here for today? Talking some Death Dealer. I think. I don't know. Let me know, chat. But yeah, Rob. Let's see here. Let me bring up some stuff. And oh, interesting enough. Hold on. What's this? Something's interrupting my connection. Hold on one sec.
Oh,
That's right, everybody. It is Rob's birthday, so you blow up that chat. Let this man know how much you appreciate him. Happy birthday, Rob. We're a little early, but regardless.
Thank
But yeah, I had to get that one out early. So
nice. Oh my goodness. I appreciate that. Thank you.
um,
Yeah, let's jump right in this so we can get to the good stuff. So on updates, if you can, come see us at Toylanta, March 28th, right outside of Atlanta. It's going to be a great show. Got a lot of great indie toy companies there, so I think it's well worth the trip if you can make it. The main website, savagecrucible.com. We're still trying to transfer the domain. As soon as the domain transfers, the new shop can open up, and some of the items that will have been updated. So we'll go from there. Wave 2 has not left the factory yet. It is ready to go, with the exception of we are waiting on the cape for Warrior Ball and Chain, which should be here any day now. And as soon as it's here, they will pack it up and put everything in a container to get shipped here. So as soon as that happens, guys, I'll let you know. But thank you for your patience. It certainly tested my patience.
yeah.
Elric is already in the tooling process, and Wave 3 is halfway through the tooling process as we speak. So everything's looking pretty good from that standpoint on meeting deadlines for the rest of the year, but we'll keep you guys updated. Now, just getting into our agenda tonight, what we want to talk about, we're just going to do an introduction to Death Dealer. We've got Frankie Frazetta here from the Frazetta Art Museum to give us some more insight.
Hey, guys.
There we go. Frankie,
I'm here.
what's up, man?
Not in chat only this time.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Oh man. Well, thanks for joining us tonight. We're really excited to have you on and talk about Death Dealer with us. So let's get right into it, guys. Oh man, it's a lot of exciting stuff to go over tonight. So let me get this caption out of here.
Oh yeah, the Harbinger Studios. No worries. So, Death Dealer, Frankie, we have this conversation. We've had lots of conversations since we've known each other, and obviously, Death Dealer is your grandfather's most iconic creation as far as mass awareness is. I think there's a lot of confusion about what the character is because there's been so many different comics and a couple of different novels about it. I think your grandfather was probably a little gracious in how other people interpreted it. But what I really want to know about is what you know about what your grandfather thought Death Dealer was and what it meant to him, and just some more feedback on the character.
Yeah, so again, it's one of those characters where it's been done so many times in different ways, whether it was the first Jim Silk books that came out or the Image comics. Everybody kind of had their own spin on the character, and my grandfather had his own thoughts on it. He obviously allowed people to have their own artistic kind of creativity on the piece. That was how his artwork worked, and why a lot of his art was it's considered unfinished to some people, is that he wanted you as the viewer to interpret it in your own way and create it like your own piece of art with his artwork. Death Dealer is no exception to that rule. However, growing up, I learned a little bit about the character, even speaking with my dad, who kind of was like, he spearheaded a lot of the business later on in my grandparents' life. He has his own like stories about talking to his dad about the character. The main thing is you don't, it's hard because you don't know what it is. And that was the point of him. He's supposed to be mysterious. The whole reason the painting was created, which a lot of people don't understand, is that it was a point in his career where he was officially this like successful artist and everybody wanted him. They would take any piece of art they could get from him, even if it didn't fit the cover of the book. Flesh Eaters, Rob, as you know, is a great example of that. So because of that, he stopped working as much. He didn't need the money anymore. He didn't need to really seek these deals. So he stopped painting a lot. And as a result, a lot of people said he was washed up. He ran out of ideas and he had never created his own character. So he decided to say, like, he gave everybody the finger and said, I'm going to show you what I can do, but nobody's paid me to do. And it was creating his own character. So that's the whole reason Death Dealer even was painted, was to give the finger to everybody to say, I can do whatever I want, just nobody's paid me to do so. The first iteration of Death Dealer obviously is him on a horse, where you don't really know what the thing is. Humanoid is kind of all you get from it. You don't see the color of his skin. You don't really see what he's wearing. He's blacked out, and it's that mystique that he's hidden behind that makes him so intriguing. You look at this character and you go, holy, like, what is this thing? And it makes you want it more and makes you want to find more out. So throughout the paintings, he would reveal a little bit more. And towards the end, he felt like he had revealed too much. So if you look at a couple of the paintings, he would revise them and add armor over the skin. So you start to get the mystique back. So as far as that goes, that's about as deep as I'd want to go, other than the one thing which we will always get wrong, because the Jim Silk books, he can take his helmet off. That is like a confirmed thing in lore. For Zeta lore, the helmet is not stuck on his head. He can definitely remove it. Other than that, that was kind of it. Again, even I don't want to give away a ton more than that, because that makes it like, it's like a magician giving away his secrets. Like, the whole trick's ruined. It's not fun for you as the fan, as somebody who admires the art or loves the character, to know everything about him. Or again, if I give too much away and somebody decides to come out with a story, that story's now no longer canon. It doesn't really matter. So it kind of ruins the fun of it in a sense. But main things with it is it's supposed to be this mystique. It's not evil. You mess with him, obviously, it won't be good. But for the most part, like, he's not out slaughtering innocents. He's not doing any of that stuff. He's just kind of, he's there when you need him, I guess is the best way to say it. But that was it. He kept it vague with all of us. He kind of, again, he always would ask me, like, what do you think it is? And I'd tell him, and it was the same thing as a lot of the fans that would view his art and ask what this thing is. He would just say, what do you think? You'd give your answer, and he'd say, yeah, that sounds good. And that was it. Like, you could never really get it out of him, because he felt like he would then ruin it for you if he did that. So, yeah.
I love it. I love it. Now, the one thing that we talked about when we got to do the tour with you, and we talked about this before, is I get the privilege of seeing a lot of the high resolution scans of different images. And, you know, there's like different versions of those images, because your grandfather seemed to be notorious for changing his paintings over his lifetime. And this is a great example we have on the screen. This version of Death Dealer, the right one is the revised version, and the left one was the quasi original of this painting. And I think, you know, they're both very mysterious, but I like, and we talked about it, like you said, it was great. The first one is definitely sad Death Dealer. You get this very saddened emotion from it. That the other one, the second one, the one on the right, doesn't have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So my grandfather he was like a really confident dude. If you ever met him, super nice, but he was that grandpa, like that strong grandpa that you never really questioned. Whatever he said was essentially like law, but not in the bad way. It's just like, I trust him enough. The other side of him, though, was he was very emotional, and he painted emotionally very frequently. You never really recognized it in his art, because it was always so heavy. And he used a lot of music to help get those emotions out when he painted. So Death Dealer 3, the one on the left, where it's a little bit more muted, that was when he was suffering from thyroid disease. He went undiagnosed for about 8 years, lost a lot of weight, felt very depressed. and he was an athlete. Like, he was drafted to play professional baseball when he was a kid. So this was probably the most miserable point in his life. And it's crazy. He always said, if I got to live 130 years, miserable 130 years, or 70 great, amazing years, he would have chosen the 130. He loved life. Like, didn't matter. He just absolutely loved life. But at this point, he just was like dreading it. And it turns out, again, he had thyroid disease. So the death dealer on the left was when he was suffering from that. And you can look at him, and again, he does look a little like melancholic. He kind of just looks like he's posing. He's not menacing. Again, this is where he really showed his skin for the first time, where it was like fleshed out and really there for you. He felt vulnerable. He felt exposed. And again, Death Dealer looks a little bit more skinny than normal. So the one on the right, which is the millionth time revised Death Dealer 3, you could tell he's a lot more menacing. This is when he finally got on medications. He started gaining his weight back. He felt strong again. The other crazy thing is you'll notice all the vibrancy's back in the artwork. That was another, what we think, symptom of the disease, was he lost a lot of his colors, his ability to see color and to really create these like gorgeous pieces of art. So he added the vibrancies back in. Again, Death Dealer looks like he's ready to fight you now. Like, why are you looking at me? Instead of the like sad kind of just standing there posing piece. So yeah, it was, again, a lot of people don't understand. It's cool, again, when you go to the museum and I get to tell you all these stories about these pieces, because you don't really understand how deep these things go, because they're such gorgeous like fantasy pieces. And it's like, yeah, that's a lot of fantasy pieces are very surface level. But in reality, with his art, it's super deep, and there's so much that goes into every single one. And I think that's really what makes them so special. Is even if you don't know the story, you kind of feel, again, I'm sure you guys felt it when you were in there, you could just feel like something emanating from each piece. It's kind of unbelievable to see them.
I would say that the one thing that struck me the most about the paintings is people don't understand how vibrant the colors are that come through on this, like through the scans or on the computer screen. You totally miss that until you actually see them in person. I think the other part, the part I really loved about the museum, besides hanging out with you and your dad, was the little pieces in the museum you guys have from your grandmother and your grandfather from their personal life. That's the part that I really love.
Yep.
Because yeah, I mean, art is all about, you know, passion and intensity and those emotions. So getting to connect with someone that you otherwise can't talk to is pretty powerful. So it's interesting.
No, it's fun. Again, it's a museum that's more about like my grandfather and my grandmother and their life. It's the Frazetta Art Museum, but it's Frazetta. So yeah, again, it's a cool experience, and again, being able to see these things is nice. And I'm so happy you guys got to finally see what you're helping support, because I think that goes a long way. Even though you guys are already amazing, it is like we want to at least give back in a certain way, and to show you guys like this is what you do for us, and these are here because of you guys, because of what you help us do. I think it's really important.
Oh, well, we appreciate it. Now, this is another thing that we get to geek out on, is because we have access to those files, and this is just two of all those black and white doodles.
Mm-hmm.
These aren't doodles, but some of the other ones are literally either character studies or little fan art that he did for somebody at a convention that he drew the character for.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot. And so you really get to see all the different ways that your grandfather presented Death Dealer over the years.
Yeah, he was very varied, but consistent in certain ways. Like, it was always, you'd never see him in plate mail. You'd never really see him in chainmail too. Like, he would have chainmail, either a skirt or whatever it was. He always had like the scapula or tabard. But everything, like, he did give himself a little bit of freedom with each. The one on the right is more of kind of a cartoony Death Dealer, which again, he still sports that weird like thing in the center of his chest, like kind of like brooch thing. Helmet's obviously still got the horns and stuff. And the boots always have that kind of flared piece up top on like the shin guard. But yeah, it's really cool, and I think fun to me to see the different iterations of Death Dealer. And I like, even recently I came across a photo, since I live at his house, I always like find random things, but I found a photo of, I think it was like a Death Dealer 4 preliminary, where in Death Dealer 4 he's standing in like a swamp with an axe. I found one where he's like holding a sword, like he's got one hand on the blade and the other on the hilt. which is
Oh,
really
you
interesting.
sent me a picture of the
Yeah,
picture. Yeah. I
it's
remember
so cool to to see that stuff, and yeah, to see a character like this in like multiple ways and like different helmets, whether it's that flat face, it's that Vader helmet, whether it's kind of like where you can kind of assume there's something where his chin is or
Mhm.
his chin showing. It is really fun, and I think that allows people to, again, they enter the Frazetta sandbox and they can use that sand to make whatever they want. Whether, again, he's my favorite's always the one with just the tabard. I like that. That's how I always am in like video games. I make my dude just have the tabard and pants, and that's it. Some people like the fully like decked out chainmail death dealer. Some guys like the death dealer with more of like the goat horns or like the steep sheep horns or whatever it is. It's fun to see different interpretations of the character. And I think, again, my grandfather did that to A, give him room for interpretation, and B, to give everybody else that same room.
Well, I don't know if we did it justice, but Kevin worked really hard. Kevin DeLise did the sculpt, and he'll be at Toylanta with all of us here
Yes,
shortly. And he
definitely. Anybody
agonized.
that's going to come visit too, definitely let Kevin know how much you appreciate his work. He works.
Yeah,
Rob has that
absolutely.
man slaving away
I do.
in the dungeon. No, we truly though appreciate Kevin's work. He does phenomenal work. So
And
No,
so I mean, here he is, and this is one interpretation of Death Dealer, and we tried to give people as many options as they could to make the Death Dealer that they wanted. We couldn't encompass the multitude of variations that every individual has on what they perceive it to be, but um, we we tried our best to do it. And this is Pablo. Pablo is the guy that actually took
Pablo,
these
yep,
pictures for us. So
yeah,
great job, Pablo.
this
Thank you.
again, I've said it enough to you guys, and I feel like I was at your booth more than I was at my booth at Zolo because I was like fawning over this thing. I was bringing people from my booth to your booth, like, did you see this? And I've never met the person before in my life. I'm just like, look at this figure of Death Dealer. You guys did more than I ever would have imagined you could have done. It's exactly really how he should have been. Um, Both, and it's cool again with the fact that you've done multiple helmets, horns. You allow everybody to kind of make their own Death Dealer, and you let me tell you what I liked with Death Dealer and the helmet with the chainmail. So I appreciate that from you guys to allow me to kind of add my thoughts. And again, it's great that you reach out to me and are just like, what do you think? Instead of just kind of, which is fine either way, but it's cool that you want my input. It makes me feel like I'm part of the process. So it makes, it's like, oh, this is again, it just, what you guys have done between the chainmail, the soft goods, everything is just like absolutely unbelievable. So I'm glad that you guys were the ones to take this and really run with it because you guys are like sprinting with it. So and again, like I've asked for really no revisions, and that's not something I do often. So you guys absolutely killed it, and I can't wait to tell Kevin he did a great job, and he
well,
should raise.
I think it has a lot to do with everyone having a great deal of passion for the subject matter. It's not,
Yeah.
So that's what we always try to do on any of our projects is we try to put the people that really like the subject matter. And I don't know anybody on the team that's not a Frazetta fan, to be honest. I don't know how that worked out now that I think
Right.
about it. But it was tough because in the beginning, like we didn't know that we were going to be able to do that metal chainmail. I had no idea how much it was going to cost, and and you were from the beginning. We're just like, no, it doesn't have to have that, and it was so yeah. I was quite happy when it finally came around that it was very obvious. I'm so glad I have
Laser can.
Thanks, Ryan.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was definitely it was a little scary. I'm not gonna lie, because you guys don't know. Like when we on the team, like everyone gets their projects assigned to them, they work on them, and sometimes like I don't see anything until like it's just done, like the sculpt's done, like they think they're ready to show it to me, and it's like now 9 times out of 10 I don't have anything really constructive to say, and sometimes they'll come to me, problematic about how they want to solve a certain issue, but one of the things that we talked about, and what Frankie's just said, is we spent a lot of time looking at the head because there's so many different interpretations of the head. And it's like, how do you appeal to everybody with just 2 head sculpts. And that was sort of the problem. We'll get to the other thing we spent a lot of time on, but just the amount of effort that we thought about in terms of trying to design a head that was really compelling for the most amount of people. And I think we came up with a solution that'll make a lot of people really happy. And I don't know what your Death Dealer favorite is, Stel. I'm used to be really hardcore on the Vader mask, but now the chainmail really speaks to me.
No, that
I'm
chainmail,
so
like, all the
glad
way.
that I sold you on that one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, so much better.
You really did. I mean, that's the thing. Getting to play around with it's really compelling. And so I think this is the part that we really wanted to reveal to you guys is that,
Oh, God, yeah.
yeah. So we call it the 8 Faces of Death. And essentially the figure comes with 2 helms, 2 faceplates, and 2 sets of horns. And that gives you the ability to make 8 different possible heads. So
Damn. This was
take
the
your
hardest
pick,
thing to
guys.
not talk about.
Right. Yeah. So I really, we weren't sure if the functionality would work the way we wanted to in the beginning, but everyone's on board at the factory to make this happen. It shouldn't be that complicated at all, from what I'm being told. The only part that I'm really focusing on is the eye part. We really want to make the eyes stand out. I think that's really important. No, we're not going to have LED lights in the eyes,
Yeah.
but we can
mean,
think we can do some things that are pretty compelling. So
yeah. No, it's and for anybody wondering, I feel like we call it the Vader mask, and everybody's probably like, "What the hell are they talking about?" That's
Yeah,
literally just our term for it. That's what I don't know if one of my family members started calling it that, so I have, but yeah, we just call the one with like the face mask out front to be the Vader helmet because it reminds me of Darth Vader. So that's literally it. But yeah,
it's fair. For analysis.
yeah.
No, I get it. No, I'm not expecting someone to pre-order 8, but
I mean, they could.
They could.
I'll be pre-ordering a lot.
But in terms of what actually comes with the figure, I think that's what everybody. We didn't just stop just at the heads having that swappability. Because, like I said, the art, definitely all the pieces from the black and whites to all the paintings. Just there's just a multitude of source material to work from, and so in addition to the heads, it comes with 2 sets of deltoid armors because distinctly he's had 2 different designs, actually a little bit more than that. But the other thing that we really wanted to, we have 1 belt, but it comes with 2 belt buckles. You have the standard skull, and then you have the metal dome shape. And then in terms of the chest, you have the straps, and then you have that piece that's shown in the left. And what's unique about that piece on the left is, as it is right there, you can use it without a belt. But if you want to use the upper portion with the belt, the bottom part of the left side torso armor comes off and allows you to display it that way as well. So we just want to give people a lot of different looks on how they want to be able to display their Death Dealer. We think we've achieved that.
You know, I think going into it too, we knew that everybody kind of has a favorite favorite version of Death Dealer too. So, we didn't want you to be limited. So this is a great way of, just getting that display of how you want your Death Dealer to look. So
yeah. And again, you guys offered like every iteration in a sense. Like you gave them whether they want to go with kind of like the more, again, the more medieval type Death Dealer with the chainmail and all that, or if they want to go with more like the swampy tribal Death Dealer with the belt buckle, like the skull belt buckle and the necklaces. It's like you guys hit every one that really stands out to people. The other cool thing too is with the weapons. A lot of people don't know. Well, I think 5 had a spear, but there was also a sketch that had a super long spear. Yeah, 5 was more like a pole. But yeah, there is a sketch with this huge spear that not a lot of people have been able to see. So you guys also included that, which a lot of people might think like, oh, it's cool. They included like a random spear, but it turned like that is another like canon piece of Death Dealer that not a lot of people have ever seen, let alone myself. I doubt my mom's ever really. I think I had to show her that piece because she's like, "What's with the spear?" Like, here, let me show you that this is actually like Grandpa painted this. So Yeah.
I think now, having listened to Frankie's story previously of what he was saying, when Frank was coming up with Death Dealer and stuff, I think the only thing we missed, including with this figure, is the middle finger to come with
We
it.
did talk. Yeah, we talked about it.
Well, we talked about that. We nixed that. We nixed
Yeah.
that. Yeah, we nixed that early on. The one thing also, the pommel on the sword, actually, you can rotate it. And that's something that, in a lot of the paintings, it's one way, but there were a couple of drawings where he painted the pommel with the head pointed the other way. That would be more functional if you were actually holding the sword. So that's another little piece, little nuanced piece that we wanted to do. So yes, the chainmail is real metal. The attachments from the sword sheath to the belt is metal chain as well. I actually have it right here. This model. I don't know if we can actually show it.
Hold on. Yeah, let me bring you up, Rob.
So, yeah, guys, that's real metal.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice. It's a wired cape as well, wired in the front tabard as well. So yeah, it's a nice. It's nice.
Yeah. The real chainmail definitely makes the difference for sure.
You guys pulled like no punches with this thing. Again, I know you and I had discussions about it, like how crazy can you actually make it? You guys, again, I remember us having a discussion, and you immediately were like, "No, this is the best." And I saw it, and I was like, "Okay, yeah, no, I agree with you." So it was crazy to see, again, from what we had talked about and saying like what's possible, what's not possible, and you literally went above and beyond for everybody. And again, I'm so thankful to be working with guys like that who want only to put out the best, because this is sick. Like, I'm not a big figure toy guy, but I've become one with working with you guys, because this is like, I will have a million of these in this room, posing them. They're just so, I couldn't imagine anybody doing better than this. I don't know what you would do to make this better. Like, genuinely, that's coming from just a third party like perspective. I would like people to figure out what it is, because multiple soft goods. The chainmail is real chainmail, which is insane. It's just like the weapon sets. It's, you guys like outdid yourselves by so much, and you already had like a really high bar, and it's like you've gone over that. So I don't know how you're going to beat this one, but I'm curious to see how you do that.
Oh, I know how we beat it. I do actually, but that's a whole nother.
Well, now I'm curious.
Yeah, don't get Rob started.
Maybe we do the LED eyes.
Guys, you've seen it. You see it's here. You see what's in front of you. The only thing not in the picture, he does come with a set of fists as well, in addition to the 2 sets of hands already there. So my question to the chat is, and we'll give you guys a minute to give me your input, but how much do you think we should charge for this figure, given everything you've seen? That's what I want to know. So if you're willing to put it in the chat.
Let me do a quick scan here, see if there's any questions.
Just give them a minute. It takes the chat takes a little while for everybody.
No, I was gonna look for some see if there was any questions we might have skimmed over.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. How easy is it to remove the chains and soft goods? I think just pop and swap.
We'll see. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Still.
No, maybe I'm jumping the gun.
We're working on it.
There was a question: will rust be a potential issue? I'm guessing for the chainmail. I don't.
Well, anytime there's metal, there's potential rust issues. I mean, unless you have a non-ferrous but no, it's. I mean, are you taking it to the swimming pool? What are you doing with this figure? Are you leaving it outside?
No humid weather.
Yeah. Here we go. Okay. A lot of ranges in here. People trying to cover. There's not a prize to win. Maybe there should have been a prize. That's what we talked about. We should have done a giveaway. Why didn't I do that for $3,000?
$1 billion.
It cost me a lot more than $3,000 to make this figure.
I love the people doing the prices right. Somebody's been watching us.
Tough time, you guys. You're killing me over here. Days and nights. Yeah.
$1.
I say, yeah, oxidation would make it kind of cool.
It would.
It would give it a very, especially with patinas, or you could actually patinaing it would be kind of cool.
It actually, that
yeah.
chainmail did go through a process. So
Yeah.
there is a process to like knock some of the shine off of it a little bit, not very much, just a little. Problem is with it, the way it is, you can't really paint it. The paint just kind of flakes off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that gets into people complaining. So it's interesting.
A lot of hundreds.
What I've learned with toy people is that when there's a will, there's a way. So they will make it happen.
Yeah, it comes with the price. That's the problem.
Well, that's why you buy like 8 of them.
Right. Yeah, that's true. You buy 8 of them.
So
yeah, that's an interesting idea. I mean, so all right. And all right, that should be good. Dun, dun, dun. Harvey Studio.
Harvey Studio. Okay. I'm calling you guys that from now on.
Oh goodness. All right, guys. All right, here we go. So the early bird price, the pay in full, is going to be $60. The $5 deposit price is going to be $70, and the retail price minimum is going to be $80. So there you go, guys. We wanted to keep it in line with other Savage Crucible figures. The design is in line with that. These are very high quality soft goods and metal chain. We didn't skip out. We went with really, really reputable factories. And yeah, so I think this is a very fair price for what it is. And I think you guys should be able to expect this with any comparable figure. So
that's insane.
Yeah.
So grab a bunch now while they're 60.
Yeah, right. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking.
But even at retail price, it's still like what they get for it is nuts.
Yes. I think even the retail price is a fair price for the quality of this figure. Definitely, there's no doubt. I mean, the soft goods are almost the price of the entire figure. So it's just it's pretty interesting. I think that yes, there is a big discount for pre-ordering and paying in full. That just goes back to my philosophy that if you're going to give me your money for whatever certain amount of time, that you should get a return on that, and the return is a reduced price. That's all. We've always been that way. I don't see that changing anytime soon. The expected delivery for this is Q4 of 2025. We've been working on this for a while. We learned some of the mistakes that we made on Warrior Ball Chains Cape and how long it's taken to get to that. So we're way ahead of the curve here. So very happy with that. The body itself is the same articulation from the Wave 2 bodies. You guys will be getting those in hand hopefully by the end of May. And I think that everyone should be pretty happy with that. There's always going to be 2 people that aren't. Unfortunately, I have their names written right over here to the left of me. But just kidding, guys. No, but in all seriousness, we're really happy about it. We're really thrilled about the price. It was an education moment for me, to be honest, for all of us. Now we're really starting to question how much we do pay for other stuff. Now that we have a better understanding of the costs involved. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I'll mention too. I remember when we had our first conversations about this, and it started out with what do we sculpt, what do we do soft goods, and you were like, and yell at me if I'm going too far, but you were like a little bit stressed with how much do you offer in soft goods, because you even said to me, this thing's getting expensive. Mm-hmm. Like it is reaching like Warrior Ball and Chain retail with just the like cost essentially. Mm-hmm. And you still said, screw it. We're going to go as big as we can and make this the best Death Dealer people have seen. And you did it. And it's still at an extremely fair price, which again is absolutely insane compared to any other Death Dealer that's been put out. And it's like bar none in quality, pricing, anything. It's just better. Like and that's what I like about working with you guys, is that there's nothing spared. Like you will eat on your end in order to allow everybody else to get the best that they can get. You could have left this with sculpted tabards and scapulas and sculpted chainmail. People still would have bought it for $60 to $80, but instead you decided to go, I'm going to lose a little bit on my end to make this even better. So again, like it's insane. Like I'm so happy that you guys decided to really go for it and make this the best that it could be.
I appreciate it. We all appreciate it. I mean, it was a dream for Kevin. Alex was thrilled to get to paint it. You know, Dave did some extra work on the weapons for us, Dave Proctor. So yeah, we're all super excited. Gordon's already sent the high resolution over so he could get to work on the packaging for it. And we're pretty excited. So I think we have some pre-planned questions based on our post today in the Facebook from the Savage Crucible Facebook group. Stel, do you want to take these for?
Yes. Can read these up. It hasn't popped up on my end quite yet. Over here. Here we go. So first question that we got over here, it said, how about alternate limbs that are the correct human flesh color, or at least limiting the gray to stylish shadowing over flesh tone? Death Dealer is not a gray-skinned ghoul. See Death Dealer 6 to confirm this, and 2 to a lesser extent. The gray is just stylistic shadowing of some, but not all of the prior paintings. So that's
Am I taking this one?
I think you should.
And in fairness, guys, we talked a lot to Frankie about the skin. We had several samples that we sent over and in person. So
if you hate the skin color, it's my fault, 100%. However, and I'm not going to go too deep into color theory, but I've explained to a couple of people already that white is the absence of color. When you put white into a scenario where color is added, that color is reflected off of white. If you put tan into a scenario where color is added, the tan is still prevalent. It's still kind of that main color. If you look at Death Dealer 2, you'll see a little bit of reflection of red on his underarm. That's from the flames next to him. Otherwise, he's pale. Death Dealer 3 and 3 revised, I mean, he's pale as hell. 4, gray. 5, that's the only one that could be argued he looks tan. But again, he's in fire. Like the whole thing's fire. It looks like nighttime, which again, if he's gray or pale, that would be reflected on his skin tone. 6, again, kind of you could debate, but the same thing where you see flames in the background. So 5, actually, if you look back at his helmet, it looks bronze. His helmet's not bronze. It's like black, and we know that. So again, that flame hitting the helmet makes him the same, that orange hue. 6 is the same way. And then 7, which not a lot of people know about, he's like more green. But the other, like the damning evidence, other than the fact that my grandpa's always said he was pale, was that my grandfather had painted my dad a statue of Death Dealer in 2007. We have it in the museum, actually. It's signed like to my son, Frankie. He painted him pale. But that's the thing with Death Dealer, is you're all allowed to interpret him in whatever way you want, whether it's his skin showing, whether he's got, he's got all the chainmail on him, whatever it is, or whether you think the helmet's stuck on him, or whether he's flesh tone, whether he's pale, whether he's pink. I don't really care. That's up to you. However, for Zeta lore, from what I've seen, what I've been told, and just looking at the art, he's pale. And again, if you want to take the figure, kit bash him, paint him tan or pale, whatever, or you're allowed to do that. It's just that I personally wanted to be very traditional to the art, and like Rob mentioned, he sent me a bunch of skin tones and said pick, and I said it's the whitest one you can get, and that's what we went with, because again, that's what I've seen growing up. That's what he's always been to me. That's what he always was to my grandfather. That's what he's always painted him as and sketched him as, and that's just how it was, and that's just kind of how that works. But yeah, that's the kind of long and short of that one, is he's pale.
Yeah, and it comes up a lot in a lot of his paintings, because we can't talk about the other ones, but we talked about that color theory comes in play on what these other characters are supposed to be in their skin tones, and it's something we have to really think about. And this doesn't say you can't do a figure that's sort of like an interpretation of the painting and whatnot, but I can tell people these are Savage Crucible figures. They're all interchangeable. You can take everything off a Death Dealer and you can put it on Warrior Ball and Chain skin tone, or you can go put it on Who-Man's skin tone. Like, they're
Exactly.
all different skin tones. You can put it on Nashorn's skin tone. That'd actually be
Mhm.
pretty awesome now that I think about it. And
I'll be
all
giving
black,
all the away
black on
ideas
black,
away, right?
Death Dealer. It's like the Snake Eyes version of Death Dealer.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
No,
Like,
and again,
it's the yin
that's
yang
the
Death
fun
Dealer.
part. Yeah.
yeah.
But no, as you notice in my grandfather's art, is that you can't tell what skin tone anything is because of how much reflection he adds into all his paintings.
Exactly.
Like you mentioned, there's some we can't bring up, but there are a lot of paintings where it's just like, what color are these people? That's just what he did. So you have to kind of go off of logic, how colors work to get your best guesstimate. But yeah, Pip Ash, whatever you want. He's here for you now. Put his helmet on a T-Rex if you can, if you want. I don't, you know what I mean? I don't care. Whatever makes you happy.
Yeah, right. There is a real quick question over here asking about the articulation. How does it compare to the current articulation? It's the same exact.
Exactly the same. In fact,
Yeah.
The butterfly is not hindered at all. You can still use the butterfly even with the tunic on. So yeah. The chain might hinder the legs if you're trying to do some crazy kick or something, or spread his legs out far. That's the only thing I can think of. And the belt piece obviously is very very wide, so that's going to limit the lower torso just a little bit, bending forward if you keep that on. But yeah, no, the articulation's the same as all of our other figures. Yeah, you're still going to get those great two-handed poses, everything like that. So
Yep. Sweet. All right, let's move along here. Question number 2: Will Death Dealer eventually get a horse? Are there plans for larger creatures in the near future? Is Wave 2 imminent?
Well, Death Dealer eventually get a horse. Never say no. I did promise Lori. Yeah. Are there any plans for larger creatures in the future? Yes. And if you guys were eagle-eyed, you'd already know that. Yeah. Is Wave 2 imminent? Yes, Wave 2 is imminent. We went over that a little bit earlier. So I'm hoping to be able to announce that it's on the water very soon. So
yeah, we're all eagerly waiting for some barbarians. That's for sure. Let's see here. I would love to see if that muscle mass is different or any new sculpt is added. Looking forward to the overview.
Yeah, no, it's the same exact body as our human figures. It just looks really good with cloth goods on top of it. I think that has a lot to do with us going in with a more anatomically correct body type. Allows us to pull that off. So,
and I do believe you had mentioned in the past, Rob, too. We did the knee joints. We expanded a little bit on the humans, correct? Versus the Lemurian.
Oh, in terms of, they're not as tight. The Wave 2 knees aren't as tight as Wave 1 knees.
Yeah,
that is correct.
All right, let's see. Exciting stuff. Any teases for future Frazetta characters or art creations?
I don't know, Frankie. What do you think?
There might be a few in the pipeline. You never really know. But yeah, you guys, I mean, with the museum, you guys have the green light to do whatever you want. I'm excited to see if you do more or what else you decide to do. It's always fun to kind of spitball with you guys and hear your thoughts on what you feel like would be the most exciting one to do next. So yeah, I definitely see more Frazetta and Savage figures in the future.
Yeah. The short story is we already have 3 different paintings in the works, either sculpted or almost sculpted or partially sculpted, needing a couple revisions. So yeah.
Let's see. This is actually a real good question. We haven't been getting too many questions of this. I want info on the new stands.
On the new stands. I just had this conversation yesterday. Those stands, which you see the skull pile in one of the pictures we showed, So the stands, there's four bases that are going to come in a pack, and the stands have a modular system where you can put like foot pegs in them and pull them out, or skulls or rocks or even rats can port into those holes as well, because there's several holes. So you can fill the other holes with other items. And it additionally comes with like these chains that go on the figure's arms. There's that skull pile. There's a rock pile. The idea is that it's modular and that we can add pieces to it, come with figures in the future. And so you can kind of make stuff like that. So that's already actually tooled. I'm trying to make the determination if I want to have that for Joe Fest or not. So I have to kind of make up my mind on that. So we considered putting it in with the pre-order with Death Dealer as a different SKU, but then we didn't really want to tie it because, like I said, the tooling's already done for that, so it can actually go into production.
And those are cool, man. I can't wait for those as well. Those are really nice. Let's see here. Are Human Savages any closer to reality? We kind of already went through that. With Elric now in production, my second pick, for which I was also lobbying a couple years back, was Slain. Is his license acquirable? I suppose that 2000 AD holds the rights. Slain is Savage incarnate. Well, Matt would love that.
Yeah, Matt is the biggest supporter of Slain you've ever seen. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what the future holds. This last one comes from Mopar, Marcel, and I don't have any plans to do any live size chain skirts. Sounds like something for
Right.
you to do. And Pepsi's and Gatorades are what's inside my fridge.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's yeah. Give me this license. Oh my god! So there were a crap ton of questions in here, dude. Did you see all these
Yeah.
questions?
Let's go back here. I saw one. It said, "How long will the pre-order be open for?"
Is it May 2nd or 3rd? You think I would know that? It was in the PowerPoint. It ends May 3rd. I mean May 2nd. Sorry guys. It ends May 2nd. And then oh my god, there were so many questions. That's the problem, people.
Will we get a Death Dane?
I don't know if we can do caricatures like that. I did like someone asked about the buzzards, and I thought that was a nice touch. So we do have someone working on familiars right now. So that could be not in this pack, but yeah, that's certainly an option.
I think this one's a good one for Frankie here. It says, any inspiration from the Bowen Death Dealer statue based on the same artwork?
No, not really. Between now everybody in the chat, from what I was told, my grandfather wasn't super thrilled on the Bowen statue. So I wouldn't know if it's inspiration or not, or kind of just everybody's interpretation is somewhat the same. But yeah, so yeah, no real inspiration from that. It was just if you want to talk about like the chainmail, it was more from Quarantine Studios did a Death Dealer on a horse a couple years back, and they had the chainmail underneath, and it fit. It just felt right. So yeah, and again, growing up, that was kind of always my thought. He was either chainmail or like cloth. But yeah, so.
Pre-order will not sell out. The pre-order is open for that window period. So definitely place your orders within that time. Let's see what
shipping is. We do ship to Canada. We also have a distributor in Canada, eCollectibles, but yeah, if you want to buy through us, that's fine. Or you can buy through them.
Says, are non-fantasy Frazetta paintings on the table for future figures? Wolfman, Combat. You never know.
There's not a painting I won't do.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
I'm like, nothing pops in my mind. I mean,
you're like, nah, I don't want to do that.
Honestly, my mind has never thought that we wouldn't do that. Like honestly, it's like the biggest hurdle is picking what to do next, because you want to do it all at once. That's the hard part. I mean, Frankie knows the ones that we have on the docket. I really like those, but
It's like the next new shiny thing. You get one shiny, and they're like, wait, hold on, there's one over there I want to get too. And then all of a sudden, you have a million shiny things, and you got to pick one. And then you drop all of them and go for the new shiny thing anyway. Yeah.
Ooh, shiny. Ooh,
yeah. There's so many Frazetta shinies that we can all have and have fun with. So, but yeah, there's none that I don't think we will eventually, hopefully, hit. Eventually, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. No, I mean, there's just so many. I mean, I think. Wow, I mean, it's not just like the main character of a painting. There's so many supporting characters in a lot of the paintings that you want to do. Like that doesn't really get talked about a lot. There are definitely some great supporting characters, not just animals, but also other humans or humanoids. So, we'll see. I have no idea how big the loose collector one is. I've never seen.
Yeah, I was going to ask them.
So I don't.
I think the loose collector is probably 6.5, 7 inches. I think.
Yeah, I assume it's comparable in size, but I don't know anything. I can't answer that.
Late to the show. What was the surprise, Rob?
Yeah.
Which one?
Yeah, which one exactly?
Yeah, right.
Yes, I know Renato wants Mothman so bad, and here's the secret: I want Mothman so bad. Like I think that would be such a badass. Like we actually already had a conversation on how to put wings on Mothman. Like that's.
I feel like a lot of LA Comic Con's conversation was Mothman.
Yeah.
Even though we had like a million other things to focus on, it was like we were talking, what's the next figure? And then Ren was like, yo, Mothman's sick. And then we all kind of fixated on it. Like, again, the new shiny, and we're all figuring out, how do you do wings? And we were looking at that monster hunter dragon. It's like, do we do it like this? Do we do cloth? So yeah, that's one of those tough ones, I would think. That's completely different from what you've done before.
Yeah, I feel like that's a special one. I really do. I mean, there's a lot. There's like that's just a great example. Like on our pre-conversation, that's a figure that most companies just won't go and do for whatever reason. And I think it's an amazing subject matter to do. So I'm just scrolling through.
Color scheme on the Delver?
Say that again?
Somebody was asking on the color scheme on the Delver.
Oh, I don't know. You're supposed to go to savagecruciblepreorder.com. That's where you're supposed to order. Are we back on Rust? Frost Giant figure. Is that Billy's painting? Is that where?
That's Heidi's.
Is it Heidi's? Yeah.
So if it ever came down to it, I'm sure I could talk to my cousin. He and I are pretty close. So if it came down to it, but we have a lot of characters that are about the same. Yeah, we have a lot to get through first.
Who's working on Familiars? I'm not gonna let you harass her. Let her do her work.
Yeah, right.
Ooh, what about a bloody variant?
What about a bloody variant?
Yeah.
Glow in the dark variant. I actually wouldn't mind a glow in the dark variant. I'm not gonna lie, that would be kind of cool.
I think it would be cool if you did the eyes glow in the dark. That'd be interesting.
I agree with that. The eyes glow in the dark would be very interesting. I've considered doing the eyes being a separate part that gets put into the helm, those being done in a translucent red with a film of the glow in the dark that goes over, makes it kind of shady, and see if that would work. I don't know if that'll work or not, but that could be fun. Yeah, we'll talk more about the bloody version later, but there might be a chase figure or an exclusive for a convention or something. Naked Red feeding a goblin cherries. Oh,
it's called Teaser. That's a really fun one. We did a statue of that a while back. It's a cool little goblin. My favorite question was Rob, you said 3 Frazetta figures being sculpted now. Is one a female?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is. It is a female.
Is it?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I
it is.
get. Yeah. I
Yeah.
guess we were talking about it. Yeah.
Yeah. You seen? Yeah.
The
Somebody
female's
asked
got
to
to be
post
perfect, guys. That's where the sculpt
pre-order.
is got to be spot on. So when the
Yes.
female's released, it's going to be Rosetta perfectly.
Well, we're not rushing that because
Yeah.
you know how I feel. I like my figures to look as good as possible in as many poses as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the
Getting the Frazetta girl right is difficult, but again, when it's done, it's like if anybody's going to do it right, I think you guys are going to be the ones to do it. So I'm excited to see what you can do with the female figure, and I know you guys again will hit it perfectly. And the good thing about it is most of the females look exactly the same as far as body goes, like proportion. So it makes the tooling, at least once it's done, a little bit easier for you. But yeah, I think it looks like a lot of people have the same thought on which female they want to, which is funny. Which isn't surprising.
I'm reading all these questions. I mean, that's I agree with you. It's
Ooh,
I don't
that's
know.
a good one right there. I wouldn't mind that. Said, can we get a pack of demons from the Death Dealer 2 painting?
Can't do that one. I'm trying to think. Do I have? There's those weird ghouls in Death Dealer 7, but none of the weird demons.
Yeah, no.
I'll take ghouls.
There's plenty of other paintings to pull from if you were going to do something like that. I mean, there's some. I'm still trying to figure out how to do your grandmother's least favorite painting. So I feel like that one has.
I was going to say, please God. So I have a file of what it used to look like before my grandfather blurred everything out, and the demons were insane. Hooved feet, it was crazy. If you hit those things, it's that's what I would care about.
No, I seriously, I've been thinking about that painting since I left.
Yeah.
I'm like that would be.
Dude, isn't it a crazy painting though? Nobody really thinks about it much or knows about it, and then you see it in person, you're just like, holy shit! What is this thing? It's completely different from anything else he's ever done.
Well, it's like the greens on Cat Girl.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Oh my god!
It's like this in your
face.
face.
Mesmerizing, man. It's truly.
My house is going to be beautiful when y'all finally get done with everything.
We're stretching Warrior Ball and Moon's Rapture hopefully this week, and they'll be headed your way. And then we got to work on the other ones.
Nice.
So yeah, your house is going to look great.
All right, guys. So with that being said, if you haven't figured it out, the pre-order is already open on Savage Crucible preorder.com. Actually, I think you put in preorders.com. It goes there too. So you can go ahead right now and put your pre-order in if you want to. If you're in the area and you have time, come see us at Toylanta. Frankie's going to be there. He's going to be at the Savage Crucible booth / for the Art Museum booth. Sean Strupp's supposed to be in town. Kevin DeLise is flying all the way from Germany. Matt will be there. Tim will be there. Stel will be there. Ren will be there. I'll be there. If you met Chris at ZoloCon, he'll be there. And if you pay attention to Collegiate Legends, Holly will be there.
Yay.
There's also a lot of other toy makers there. Fresh Monkey Fiction / BBTS, they'll be there. Creative Beast Studio, love those guys. I don't think we've seen them since Houston. Four Horsemen Studios, From the Realm. Those guys I think, are going to have a Kickstarter this year, so I think they're showing off their stuff. Grindhouse Toys, Man or Monster Studios, which I've never seen in person. 9 to 5 Warriors, Odd Frog Entertainment, Realm Toys, those are the Brutal Realm guys, and Spiro Toys, also known as AWalk. So lots to see there, and that's just the more prominent name indie toy companies. I want to say there's 140 booths there or something crazy. It's insane because it's 3 different floors. So if you had a good time at ZoloCon, that was great. Just it's on par with Zolicon in terms of how many vendors are there and just having a great presence. So, at least for the Southeast. So, Frankie, appreciate you coming on, spending time with us.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
And I can't wait to
Thanks
see you in
again.
Atlanta. I hope Nicole gets to come.
Yeah,
that'd be
I
nice.
think she'll be going. We're gonna make the trek together. So yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you, man, and thank you for giving all that behind the scenes information about the character and all that. So I think that was
Yeah,
a
of course.
really nice treat on tonight's episode. And for those that haven't been to the museum, this is exactly what I was talking about. This is what makes it such a great experience, is having Frankie kind of giving you the insight of everything that's around the museum. So with that being said, guys, I'm gonna do a quick little scan, see if any last minute questions popped up here. Definitely anybody that's going to be at Toylanta, come say hello. Come meet the gang. There's going to be a lot of us there, so that's actually, it's always fun to see everyone. So, and I don't see any questions. So, yep, figures will fit in with the Fire and Ice stuff. Cool. All right, guys. Well, to everybody, we had a lot of people tune in and watch tonight. Thank you guys so much. Again, like and subscribe. This is the best way to kind of get, news on pre-orders and, the most updated news with what's going on with the line. So definitely show some support and give us a follow. And Rob, thank you again. Frankie, thank you. And to all you savages, you have a wonderful night. Thank you again for tuning in. We'll catch you on the next one.
See you guys.